Alright guys, thanks for checking out today's video. Today we are going to be training our back, biceps, and our forearms. All you're going to need for this one is going to be your door anchor, your bands, and obviously a door. So this workout should take about 20 minutes. It's going to be pretty intense, and you are definitely going to be able to see the serious kind of workout you're going to be able to get in 20 minutes with these bands. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to check the links in the description below, where I have links to my exercise library, my other videos where I teach you how to build your own complete home gym for under $100, as well as my DIY series. Now, if there's anything specific you're looking for, you have any questions, do please leave a comment in the comments down below, and I will do my best to address it and make a video in the future. All right, so it is time to start our 20-minute high-intensity workout. We are going to start by doing some lighter resistance exercise with a higher rep range so as to warm up our joints and our muscles to reduce the risk of injury. So the first movement we're doing here is our seated row. Again, you can grab the loop through the loop, or if you'd like it to be a bit more difficult, grab a bit further back like this, and off we go. Now again, keeping in mind right now we're not doing a heavy set, we are simply getting warmed up. So you just want to do the amount of reps until it starts to get difficult, but not to the point where we get to failure and you cannot physically do the movement anymore. So one thing to keep in mind when you're training, if you've got the loops like this and it's a little bit too high in the resistance, you can always take one loop, put it through the other, and there you go. So now, instead of training against two sides of the band, we're training against one. So one strand versus two strands per arm. So now here we are doing a quick little bicep curl just to warm up. However, one thing to keep in mind, when you're doing it with bands and they're on a fixed plane like this at a door attachment, you actually can move your elbows forward a little bit to get a better range of motion. Whereas when you'd be using a barbell or a dumbbell, you need to keep them fixed at your sides and not moving forwards at all. It's a little bit different here, but do try and keep them pressed into your sides. All right, here we go. We're gonna do a quick lat pull down set. Again, nice and light. And if any exercise you see here, you'd like to get a view from a few different angles so you can get your form correct, do have a look at the links below for my exercise library, where most of these exercises can be found, and you can see the correct form to perform these exercises. Right, moving up to the next band, we're going to start making it a little bit more difficult now. We're still not taking it right to failure, but we are going to carry on to a point where it starts to get a bit more difficult, and we are using a higher resistance band now. One thing I like to do while I perform the lat pull down at the top of the door frame, I like to lean forward a little bit so seeing as when you're doing a traditional lat pull down, you're pulling the weight down from directly above your head from the cable machine. But since the anchor point is a little bit offset inwards, we can't pull it straight down. We're kind of pulling it at a bit of an angle. So what we do is we lean forward a little bit, slight bend in the knees just to kind of match that angle a bit. All right. If you need to take a break, grab some water if you need it. Again, if you're dehydrated, you're not going to be performing at your best. So take a break when you need it. Grab some water. Take a couple extra deep breaths if you need to. If the video is a little bit too difficult for you starting out, nothing wrong with that. Put it on pause, catch your breath, press play when you're ready to go, and follow along. It's going to take you a little bit more than 20 minutes, but you know what? Eventually, you'll work your way right up to the 20 minutes, and you might even be able to condense it even more as you get into better shape and your cardiovascular capacity and your endurance improves. So we are about 5 minutes in. I am going to up it to the next band, the purple band, and that is where I'm going to top out for a few of the exercises. But now we're going to start getting towards the point where we're kind of getting near failure. And I'm going to demonstrate a technique that we're going to use to make it a bit more difficult with partial reps once we've hit failure. Because with bands, the resistance is a bit more progressive. You're getting a different amount of resistance through the range of motion. You're not starting with, you know, the highest amount of resistance as you start pulling. You get the highest amount of resistance at the end of the movement. So generally what you want to do then, once you hit failure, start doing partial reps so it kind of more readily simulates the consistent resistance that you'd be getting with an actual weight. So I'll be demonstrating that on this next set here. All right, so here we are in a seated row. I'm going to start I'm going to take it to failure, and then I'm going to demonstrate the partial reps. Alright, so I'm hitting the point where I can't get the full range of motion anymore, so I'm going to start taking it to the point as far as I can pull it back with each rep. Okay, so as you saw, we just got to a point where realistically we're not moving it very far anymore, just a few inches. At that point, you're pretty much done. You take your break or you move on to your next exercise. So now we're going to do a very quick set of curls, and then once we hit failure at our regular curls, we're going to start doing some reverse curls, which more readily hits the forearm muscle. Okay, do a couple partial reps now. Okay, a few deep breaths. Then we're gonna move on to the reverse curls. Now we're not gonna do too much volume for our biceps, because at the end of the day, our arms are getting a lot of workout too when we are doing the seated row and the lat pull down movement, because those movements are heavily influencing our bicep and our forearms. So you don't have to put too much emphasis on exercising your biceps and forearms directly, because it just might be a bit too much. And keeping in mind, they are a smaller muscle group, so you really don't need to hit them like you do the larger muscle groups with the compound movements, because they do get a lot of activation all the time from other exercises. So again, for the reverse curls, we just flip, because we were bicep curls, palms out like this, reverse curls, overhand grip like this. And here, we're just bringing it up to her face, basically. So now we're gonna move on to the lat pull down. Same thing, we're gonna hit failure, start doing our partial reps, take another couple deep breaths, and then we are gonna do some bent over rows with the bands. Okay, we're starting our partial reps. Actually started that a few reps ago, but here we go. Okay. Whew. Whew. All right, let's take a quick breather. And as you need to do the exercises, don't forget, you do have multiple bands. You can switch between the different colors and different levels of resistance as you need to. So just because you see me using the purple band for this exercise or that exercise doesn't mean you need to use the purple band. And just because I loop it over and I'm fighting against two strands of the band like this doesn't mean you can't, again, tie it through the top like I demonstrated on the initial bicep curl. Doesn't mean you can't do that. And again, now you're just working against one. Whereas, working against two, more resistance, right? Less resistance. Just makes sense. All right, so now we're gonna do the bent over row. And again, so like I just mentioned, if doubling the loop, whichever color band you're using is too much, like this, not a big deal. Just go, put your feet through the single loop, grab the bands, do the exercise. It's not a big deal, right? There's no ego here. These are bands. There's no numbers on the sides of these saying you're lifting, 50 pounds, 60 pounds, 100 pounds, 1,000 pounds. They're just bands. They give you a certain level of resistance, and it really makes a difference too, depending how tall you are, how short you are. Because again, I'm not a particularly tall guy. I'm pretty short actually. I'm only 5'6". So for me, here we go. That is gonna be up to here, that's a lot less resistance than for somebody who's 6 feet tall, because that person is pulling them up here, right? Big difference. So who knows how much resistance we're getting. Okay, so now we're gonna start with bent over row. Same idea as the last time. Once we hit failure, we're gonna start doing partial reps. Here we go. Okay, so we got about 5 minutes left in this workout. So as you see, get a pretty solid workout out of these bands here. Really don't need much. Instead of these bands at door anchor, cost as much as most people pay for their gym membership in 1 month. So even if you're not looking to replace your gym membership and you're just looking to have an alternative to have a workout at home when you can't get to the gym, throw in your car, keep at work, hey, you know, worthwhile investment. Even if you're traveling, just grab a set. You can pick any set from Amazon. As long as they got decent reviews, they get the job done. And even go to Google. It's various suppliers that carry these bands. Many of them are commercial grade. All right, here we go, another salad pull downs. All right, so there we go, we're almost done. I think we're just gonna finish up with a quick set of reverse grip curl start and then regular bicep curls. And here's a technique you can use to make it even more difficult. It's called a static hold. So you take it to the top of the movement, like here, and you hold it for an indeterminate amount of time, 10 seconds, 5 seconds, 15 seconds, whatever works for you, or until you simply can't hold it anymore. And that's one of the things about these bands. You will get an insane burn when you're doing certain movements, like in static holds like this. It's crazy. Okay, we're doing some partial reps here. And a static hold. There we go. That is it, we're done. There you go. Drenched in sweat, 20 minutes, crazy workout. You can get an absolutely phenomenal workout with amazing results with a set of bands and a door anchor. You really don't need much. Cost the amount of what some people pay on 1 month's gym membership for a set of bands and a door anchor. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you do like this content or you want to see more videos like it, leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I will do my best to address it and maybe make a video in the future addressing that workout or concern that you have.